Let's talk about this on Twitter. You know, the Elon Musk follies continue. He's firing people who criticize. Yeah. Which, honestly, like the poetry there is just magnificent, isn't it? That you're going to fire employees that are critical of you on your uber ultra free speech the platform. I have not been able to follow like where they are on the whole verification, buy a verification badge or whatever. That just
they're going to relaunch it on the 29th, apparently.
Yeah, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who the heck knows?
Right, if Twitter's going to be around that long.
Exactly. Well, no, again, yeah. I think what's going to happen is ultimately it's going to go into bankruptcy. He's going to knock off, some of the obligations, sell out of bankruptcy, try and figure out a way of structuring it in such a way that he becomes like the first in line creditor and, walk away and blame like regulators.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, Stock Talk Weekly, which is verified on Twitter because it paid the $8, but it does have 172,000 followers 2 hours ago. Breaking: Elon Musk says he plans to find somebody to replace him as acting CEO of Twitter. We'll see if that is verified.
That sounds like a problem he's having with the Tesla shareholders who are saying, hey, dude, we're getting all these reports now of like the cars blowing up and
taking off on their own,
and they're made out of garbage, and we need you back here to distract people from what's going on at Tesla instead of distracting people what's going on at Twitter.
Maybe to do the full 120 hours you said you were doing on our
but this is an interesting thread from a professor, I believe at GW. Name is Rebecca Tromble, and I believe she's at GW. Yep. And she writes, I know everybody's watching Twitter's various features, systems fall apart. It's clear the wheels are falling off. But a quick reminder, you also need to keep an eye on what's happening in European regulatory space. In Europe, they are far more, stringent privacy laws. And in fact, when you see all that things like, do you accept these cookies? A lot of that is a function of like what's, compliance with that has sort of migrated over from Europe. And there has been new compliance laws, I think it may be in California, and it has impacted the entire space. Look at this, scroll up here. She writes that in Ireland, under the GDPR, which is the essentially the European regulations that deal with the internet.
Yeah, general data protection regulation.
Yeah, I don't know what the equivalent would be in this country, like the Communications Act or something like that. But she writes that layoffs and resignations mean that Twitter is in clear violation of EU privacy law. Scroll up. They don't have a data protection officer. Apparently, a DPO is one of the most basic of basic requirements under the GDPR, according to Tromble. Twitter, she says, literally has got no one in the building. And the key European regulator, in this case, the Irish Data Protection Commission, has already put Twitter on notice, and fines could be huge. And then she says her bets are on the Irish DPC coming out swinging hard at Twitter. The Irish authorities have been taking a lot of flack for supposedly being slow and soft on big tech. And she anticipates that the DPC in Ireland is going to use this as a way of showing that they are not soft on data protection. And then she says, here's the kicker. Twitter's ham-fisted moves have actually opened the door for all of those other European data protection regulators to start coming after Twitter too. Before Twitter had only answered to the Irish, and thus everyone else was mad that the Irish weren't doing enough. Now it looks like Twitter's probably given up the right to streamline GDPR compliance through the Irish. And in turn, all those other frustrated regulators, more than 24 in total, can come calling. I'm not 100% sure I understand this dynamic. I don't know if there was a certain amount of time that that Twitter had to comport with Irish data protection laws, but for whatever reason, she seems to think that the European regulators are going to cause a massive headache for Elon Musk. And the bottom line is the guy had no idea what he was doing. I mean, look, I'll say this again. It is Elon Musk clearly is one of those guys who was able to do one thing well and struck pay dirt. I figured out a great way of buying lottery tickets, and I won. And he struck pay dirt at this one thing, and then just sort of like was attributed with a certain amount of intelligence because he was rich, which is a huge mistake. But in the end, again, it doesn't matter that Elon Musk is an idiot and a billionaire. What matters is he's a billionaire. And that part shouldn't exist. I'm okay with dumb people doing well, smart people not doing well, or smart people doing well and dumb people not doing well. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is we should not allow for billionaires. Period. End of story, whether they are brilliant or whether they're morons like Elon Musk. That's it. Bottom line. And it's going to be fun to see him taken down. But, so much of this like mentality, I mean, that's why Donald Trump did so well in the Republican primaries in 2016. And some of that, I think, will still propel him, although, he's in like chapter 2 and people forget how he's introduced. But the Republicans told us over and over and over again, from Paul Ryan to George W. Bush to everybody else, that you are more moral and righteous if you are wealthy. If you don't have money, you are immoral in some way, or you are lacking righteousness. And that has been largely an American principle, broadly speaking. If someone's rich, I mean, look at the G20. What is the G20? It is a meeting of the political leaders of the most 20 industrialized countries in the world. Why does Bill Gates get invited? Why is Bill Gates there? Why does Bill Gates get to go and Sam Seder doesn't get to go?
Yeah, I didn't vote for Bill Gates.
Why does Bill Gates get to go and Matt Leck doesn't get to go, or Bradley, or Emma, or you? Who elected Bill Gates anything? That's the problem. It's because he's a billionaire. And money should not be a replacement for being an elected representative. Money should not be a replacement for an elected representative, having accountability for large policy decisions. But it is. And that's a problem. That's why we should outlaw people having that much money. If you have enough money that world leaders are compelled to sit down with you, you've got too much money. Definitionally. You're then a king. You're not the king of the world. You're just a king of a certain, psychographic.
Like a prince.
No, you're a king. Like there's multiple kings, right? Like there's a king of France, there's a king of England. But and now there's a king of a guy who floats around in certain areas wherever he decides to go in.
King of electric cars.
I'm the king of electric cars. I'm the king of vaccines, or I've decided to make myself king of education in the country.
And farmland. That's a big portfolio.
Remember how the right used to complain about all the czars underneath the Obama administration? I can't believe how many czars there are. Well, what about like real world czars? Like Bill Gates. Why does this dude get to be the czar of education for the United States? Oh, I made a mistake. That was 10 years. That's okay. I did a bunch of other stuff during that time. No skin off my back. I've immiserated literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of teachers across the country and demoralized them and made their jobs far less fulfilling and also effed up education for, I don't know, a generation or two. It was worthwhile experiment, I think. I mean, literally.
Hey, don't blame me for trying.
Yeah. Oh, you know, a lot of billionaires would just hold their billions and do what with it? I don't care about they give away money or their philanthropy. That money doesn't belong in their hands. It should be in other people's hands. If not the government's, then it should be spread out amongst everybody else. You get 1 billion people will get $1. It is a real problem. It is a real problem. Bill Gates had no business influencing whether poor countries would get the vaccine. No business, no right whatsoever. None. I don't remember what the point of that was, but I hope Elon Musk gets his ass handed to him by the Europeans. And frankly, we should have that, and it should be under the form of antitrust and et cetera, et cetera. We should have regulatory schemes like that as well.
And hopefully, maybe some new Twitter type replacement can come out of the EU instead of American Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
But to your point, Sam, about Gates, it's a similar thing with what we saw with that, softball CNN interview with Jeff Bezos on the same day that 10,000, 11,000 Amazon employees are getting laid off, is that he gets interviewed by an entertainment reporter at CNN, doesn't get one seriously scrutinizing question about anything that's going on at Amazon, and gets to basically just parade around that he's going to give away his wealth before he dies. And it's the calling card for this person to have any sort of import for saying these things is that he's rich. That's it.
Howard Schultz. Why do we have to deal with that Howard Schultz guy? I mean, this guy was going to run for president. He was getting half an hour interviews on MSNBC and CNN. And why? Why? I mean, you spent 5 minutes in one of those meetings that he was giving to try and convince people not to unionize, and you can realize this dude couldn't be more out of touch.
Or stupid.
Okay, he did well in the logistics of getting coffee from point A to point B, and he knew there were certain price points for this and that, and he was really dedicated to making money. So effing what? How does that qualify you or give you the legitimacy to influence policy in this country? I mean, and I know the answer as to why he's on television. Because it's a commercial medium. And this guy is a big buyer of airtime. Hey, this video is sponsored by Established Titles. What is Established Titles? It is a fun novelty gift that also helps you preserve some natural woodlands. It's a project based on historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number. So what happens is they plant a tree with every order. They work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. And you get one of these certificates. I'm a lord. I'm also a lady, too. I can be both. There's no reason I can't be. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to our plot. If you want to become a lord and lady, we can create our own Majority Report kingdom. So check it out. You can also, on official documents where they use a prefix, you can call yourself lord or lady. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running a massive Black Friday sale right now. Plus, if you use the code MAJORITY, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/majority to get your gifts now and help support the channel.